The biggest telltale sign between a great golfer and an inconsistent golfer is the impact position and the repeatability of being able to return the club face square towards the back of the golf ball. And what I'm going to do in this video today is I'm going to precisely outline the things that you need to know. Now, those of you that know the channel will obviously be very much aware that throughout the week I'll be putting drills and tips in there as well. And those are the types of videos that help bring all of this to life. But today, and this week, we're going to be talking very much about impact. So what do we need to know, and what are the things that great golfers tend to either are aware of or they do naturally really, really good? Well, I think the first one is to understand that when we hit the golf ball, you need to make sure that your hands are ahead of the club head at the point of impact. We don't want the club head overtaking the hands. This will give us inconsistency with things like our angle of attack, which is striking down the golf ball, but also the club face itself. You know, if you're sort of like scooping it this way, that club face is going to start missing towards that left-hand side for our right-handed golfers. The next thing you know, your mates are telling you, they're like, oh, Roy, you're aiming, you know, down the other fairway to sort of scoop it back onto it, and you just lose distance. So that's the rule one. Now, the way you stop that from happening and you get your hands ahead, okay, of the club head at impact simply comes down to two things. One, your trail arm, and your trail arm moving this direction, so down to the side of the body, and not getting stuck up here in some sort of like, you know, losing. You got to lose that arm wrestle, not sort of win the arm wrestle this way. That's going to kill your impact position. And the second one is really very much understanding that you've got to move a little bit towards your lead side, because that basically helps you, well, hit through the ball. So that hands ahead is a massive part of that impact position. Another one has to simply come very much down to your club path. So what you want to avoid when we're kind of getting set up to the golf ball is excessively swinging too much in to out or out to in. So how do you avoid that from happening? The answer is actually a really, really simple one. Simple in idea, not necessarily so simple in application, but all you need to understand is that the shaft of the golf club is actually traveling in a straight line, right? So what happens is when we set up to the golf ball, and because our hands and arms move to the side of our body, this is why the club starts to work up what's known as an incline plane, right? Which is like so. But actually, for your point of reference, you could, if you wanted to, sellotape. Okay, you could sellotape a laser pen to the side of the shaft. You can also purchase training aids that do this type of thing for you. Or if you were me, and like I suggest for a lot of my online students, I would just say, look, get yourself set up at home, because you're not going to take this type of thing down to the driving range. Get something on the ground, right, to represent your target line, like this alignment stick. And just, you know, if you don't believe me that the shaft travels in a straight line, then just hold the laser pen right next to the shaft. And all you'll do is, I'll just do this now, right? You can see the laser pen is traveling in a straight line, like so, and then it would travel in a straight line through, but the club head is working on an arc, okay? And this is, like I said, it's exactly the same as if you sort of did it this way. I hold the club out in front of you, okay? If I travel this in a straight line, it still kind of works around in an arc. It's not doing this, okay? And that's because the hands and arms work to the side of the body. So if you're like thinking, oh, am I swinging too much in to out or too much out to in, and you don't know, then just practice with a little bit of a laser pen, and that will just get you right back into the point. Now, we've talked a little bit about hands ahead. We've talked a little bit about your club path. The last little point to mention is obviously the club face. Now, like I said, this is in theory, not necessarily application, and bringing all this together can be easier said than done. But what I tend to suggest for a lot of my golfers is that you need to understand that the lead arm is the arm that's going to help you rotate the club face. That's the responsibility that the lead hand is trying to get you to do. Now, depending on your grip style, so if you're somebody who grips the golf club really strong, you have to do less rotation to square the face. If you're somebody who grips it really weak, then you'll need more rotation to square the face. But you'll generally find biomechanically you're probably holding the golf club which is comfortable to you, and that is absolutely fine. Whether you're somebody who has it slightly weaker, okay, so that means you'll need more sort of pronation and supination. If you grip it stronger, you're already in a lot of pronation, you'll need less. But you need to understand that that lead hand is squaring that club face, okay? So when you're rotating, your forearm in space when you're swinging the golf club, that is going to control the club face. And understanding those three core principles is what is going to give you huge consistency, and gelling all of those things very much together. So then you could ask, what's the point of this video, right? What's the point of just telling us about the things that should happen? Well, here's why I would tell you: because we swing the golf club the way that we do because of the narrative, the things that we think we should be doing. So by questioning those things even slightly will influence how you move and you react. It'll change your intent. So if you are somebody who is trying to square the club face with some quirky trail hand motion and you know it's not quite consistent, then it gets you thinking a different way and it could lead to more success. If you are somebody who is maybe trying to think, oh, I thought I was supposed to swing excessively this way, and then you stop that narrative, again, that will lend itself to more consistency. If you're somebody who is trying to, get into a better impact position and you're sort of doing something like this and spinning behind the ball, then again, that's going to lead itself to inconsistency. So blending these three things are things that you definitely need to know. Let me know in the comments box how helpful that video is. Catch up with you. I've got a great video, great chipping video coming up tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss it, right? It's all about the hands and how they influence chipping. Subscribe. Speak to you guys really soon.